Carlos, the police inspector, was walking in circles in his office. He had been brooding on it for days and just couldn't find any logical solution. It was 13 people already. 13 victims who had disappeared under strange circumstances in the last month. That was a very peaceful city with just a few inhabitants. For now, the only factor all the cases had in common was that all the victims had disappeared in very isolated places and very late at night. Moreover, in all the cases studied to date, there were no signs of fingerprints, nor any other clue that could help the police find the victims. It was a very frustrating situation, and things were only getting worse. Now, people avoided getting out of their houses out of fear. As always, the local newspaper didn't help in diffusing the panic. Every day, they came up with new theories about what could explain those strange disappearances. At first, Carlos didn't look at them, but over the course of the days, his desperation was so high that even those theories started to become interesting. He just didn't know what to do. The affected areas had no security cameras. They were all dirt roads or parks away from downtown, with no businesses nor banks nearby that could have security systems. He had all of his men taking double shifts to patrol the entire city, but still nothing. They considered installing video surveillance systems, but there were not enough funds for it. Moreover, it was completely unpredictable where the next kidnapping would take place. And yes, at that point, the police were sure that the kidnappings would continue. Work was accumulating, as well as the lack of sleep. And despite that, Carlos could barely sleep a couple of hours on his free nights. And it was precisely in one of them when he got in his car and went out for a drive. He wasn't heading anywhere in particular, and his mind was still restless. At least by going out, he could be able to report anything in case he saw anything suspicious. However, he never expected to bump into that. He was driving up a road by the side of the Western Park when he saw lights in the distance. At first, he thought it was a product of his exhaustion. He was probably in a different area, and those lights would end up being just a block of houses. But it was strange. He was relatively near his house, and he was familiar with those roads. As he approached the lights, he started to notice a strange buzz within his ears. He also started to feel weird. He had never felt like this before. He kept driving, and when he looked at the last hill, he stopped. There were no public lights there, but he could still see that different lamps had been placed there. He was surprised by their height. He had never seen lamps like those before. He laughed at himself for getting scared. Surely the municipal government had placed them there recently. However, he was still feeling strange, so he stopped and got out of his car to take a breath. The buzz in his ears was getting more and more intense, and it felt like his head was about to explode. He tried to walk for a bit to help ease the tension and the pain, but they were just getting worse. And when he was about to faint, he leaned on one of those lamps. His body was carbonized in seconds as he had bumped into a light head. He had solved the mystery, but it was too late to save his neighbors. The next day, all the newspapers in the city had the news on the first page. The head police inspector in charge of investigating the disappearances had disappeared too. Lighthead, or Headlight, is a fictional creature created by the Canadian artist Trevor Henderson, author of other monsters such as Siren Head, Cartoon Cat, and Long Horse. Not much is known about this strange being, but from what we have discovered on the internet, they have humanoid shapes, and instead of a head, they have lights. Their extremities really make them stand out since they are extremely large in proportion to their bodies. They can be either male or female. The males are 3 to 4 meters tall, while the females can measure more than 6 meters. The skin of a lighthead is gray, and its thickness allows them to withstand bites or scratches from other aggressive creatures. Some say that their skin is made of the strongest material in the entire planet. Moreover, lightheads also produce a chemical repellent as a defense mechanism. That makes them have a very particular smell, which is different between the males and females. That smell is intensified when they're in the middle of a fight or field danger. Surely many of you have seen our video about Siren Head and might think that they're very similar. Many sources online claim that the lightheads were created by Siren Head as an army to overthrow the Earth. Siren Head would control their minds, and they, with their immeasurable force, would do the rest. Also, the lightheads not only inherited Siren Head's horrible sounds, but also improved on them since they can emit a series of vibrations undetectable but deadly to all humans. Other sources also claim that the lightheads can not only produce earthquakes and tsunamis, but also have the ability of driving meteorites to Earth in order to destroy us all. If that happens to be true, then that means we would be dealing with an invincible monster. Are you scared yet, TikTakers? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, and if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!